see if this individual rather reposted their question. I don't see. Just trying to find your questions. Oops. To the private side. What happened? Comments. They disappear after a while.
Yeah, you apologize. Explain them because they move so fast.
They move so fast and then they disappear. Yeah. The earlier ones disappear. So that's why I can't, so we keep asking over and over. I can't ask what I can't see. I do apologize that I didn't see it. Someone says, yes, Taj, lumber need relief. Lumber is quadruple. We know that.
But that's what we've been telling you all for years so that you can prepare yourselves.
Yeah, Patricia Tia, Sister Tia says, can you briefly address the Bay Islands millennials on right now regarding nationality? They have been academically oppressed by the suppression of their mother tongue, English, and miseducated in Spanish.
Now, keep in mind, there's no such language as Spanish. That's Moorish Latin. That belongs to you. And English is simply what you would call Gullah, Creole, trade language, and that's universal. So don't look at it as belonging just to the hybrids that deal with the international trade of Phoenicians, which is also yourselves. A lot of times we keep assuming or condemning things that actually belong to us by associating it only with the hybrid Europeans just because of the corruption that humanity has been experiencing this last 100 and so years, etc. However, understand that corruption has been on all sides, and it's not just the hybrid Europeans who have been corrupt. It is also many of the Moors who have been corrupt. And so these fundamental principles must be taught back to you in order for us to together, in many fronts, start fixing this corruption that all of us have participated in, some deliberately and some through mind control and miseducation. However, the results has been damage to humanity at large. Thus, the Moorish Divine and National Movement was established officially as a countermeasure to the Unum Sanctum operations. Doesn't mean that the people that are exercising this knowledge are more correct or more right than anyone else. It means there's a sincere platform effort to help in the uplifting of fallen humanity, and we have to pull each other's coattail constantly to keep us on the right path. I yield the floor.
Okay. Well, we said we were only gonna do. First of all, let us kind of give you a backstory as to why we started an hour late. We had a
massive electrical
we had an electrical area. Yeah, the electricity went out in the area, so we had to push it back so that we make sure it was back on by the time we could actually go on, because it doesn't let you go on if you're 10 minutes late on the system. So we pushed it back an hour. But Grand Chic has been working on my project, my home remodel project. I'm saying feverishly over the last, how long have you been here?
48.
Yeah, he is tired, and rightfully so. So we're not going to go until 11:30. We hope you do understand. He does need to get some rest, because I can attest to the fact that he has been working feverishly. But we do appreciate, your overstanding and understanding and your patience with what we're doing. You know what I mean? And your support is greatly appreciated, and we appreciate you. I do have an announcement. Many of you have asked that are in, not even all of you that are domiciling close, but many are asking, when are we going to do? Are you going to do live, in-person, meet and greet type sessions? Starting August 27th, which is the fourth Friday, and we're going to try to do it on every fourth Friday. So we're literally adding a third day because we're still going to do our first and third Friday live streams, excuse me. But on the fourth Fridays, we're also going to try to live stream it. But those are going to be, that's going to be our in-person, where you'll be able to literally come to the House of Reawakening Minds. So mark your calendar for Friday, August 27th, 2021, when we come back together. And those of you who've been, really, really anxious to get here and to be up close and personal with Grand Sheik and even myself, please, by all means, put that on your calendar. The doors will open at 6:30 on the 27th, and we'll start the class or whatever Grand Sheik decides to do at 7:30. And we hope that those of you who can attend will attend. We have limited space, so if you are planning to come from a distance, just kind of reach out and make sure. I'm going to try to keep tabs on the numbers so that we don't try to pack more than we can actually reasonably fit in the building. So we thank you so much for your patience, because it's been over a year, Grand Sheik, since we've done an in-person class, and you've done. And so the 27th of August, we're coming back together. We're going to try to make it special, maybe have some, some vendors and some, vegan food and some other things there. But August 27th, meet us at House of Reawakening Minds. And we look forward to the end of our avenue.
Yes. And I want to thank many of the mothers and sisters and brothers who over these trying months and moons have been supporting the House of Reawakening Minds. And many of you, we can't thank you directly. In the future, we may just mention your first attributes, to keep it private, etc. But know that we appreciate you. And also, please subscribe to Dr. G's new YouTube channel. And it's Dr. G is official. And guess what? Because people been calling from all over the place, and we only need 179 more subscribers are needed in order for the channel to go live. So keep that in mind. So please subscribe. Please subscribe. Dr. G's new YouTube channel, Dr. G is official. Please subscribe. And I also thank you for aiding and supporting both economically and socially the House of Reawakening Minds. So please go to your YouTube and search for Dr. G is official and subscribe. And have a grand evening.
Thank you.
It's governing body politics. Keep in mind, when you're referring to the U.S. government, you're not talking about a nation. You're talking about a foreign political system operating at North America under the guise of being a nation, with particular people being party to that operations who are actually members of the Roman Curia, members of P2 Mason order, who have been imitating and corrupting ancient African and Egyptian customs and perverting many things and many symbols that actually have African origin, and using dark side magic and psychic attacks. Now, schism, for those of you who don't know, commonly spoken of among most people in a layman's term would be called divide and conquer. However, schism in operation, schism is a noun and relates to the division of a group of people into opposing sects, opposing parties, or opposing opinions or positions. Now, schism may relate to opposing philosophical positions, opposing doctrines, opposing disciplines, etc. Schism inducements may also pertain to deliberated political and social psychic attacks as used in military or extrajudicial activities to serve an unseen or hidden source of persons to bring about confusion, divisions, discord, and instabilities upon another group of people to achieve conquest of outcomes, etc. In layman's terms, schism as a war tool is often referred to as invoking by way of subterfuge, deceit, or any other dishonorable method, a division among a targeted group of people for the purposes of creating divisions or the bringing about of what is called divide and conquer effects. Also, in relationship to consciousness and cognizance of what's been going on at North America, also known as the Maghreb, which is Morocco, the most extreme west, we will talk about a common phrase that's commonly used among African people in Sabian culture and in ancient texts brought to the modern world, is this phrase: whosoever will, let him come. Whosoever will, let him hear. And now, so people must understand and comprehend and understand the relationship of will in relationship to philosophies and positions that one might take. So in relationship to the capacity, the intent, or to the impulse, etc., of one to decide, to initiate an action, to exercise self-control, or to adhere to one's desires or ordainments, etc. And will may also pertain to having something of focus as one's object or will and intent unconditionally. Now, to hear also it pertains to the perception of sound in the ear, also an adherence to what is known or perceived, etc., and to act accordingly, etc., or to respond accordingly. And so when you're talking about will, that is more or less the power in divine nature of beings, of what is often referred to as free will. So ultimately, things in life and our experiences in life often, more often than we consider most of the time, relate to our consenting or agreeing to things, to ideas, to philosophies, to intent, etc., related to what we perceive, what we know, what we allege to believe, etc. And much of this has to do with the relationship of cognizance or consciousness of the being. So one of the things that we need to look at is the cognizance that exists in general among our people of the West, and particularly the Aboriginal copper complexion people of the Western Hemisphere, artificially tagged with nom de guerres such as Negro, Black, Indian, etc., who are actually of Canaanite Moabite blood and are the Aboriginal and true heirs and peoples of the land, and part of the schism operations that has been successful with the particularly some among, not all, some among the hybrid Europeans who have been operating at North America under the guise of a national political order, when actually it is a private corporation operations of the Vatican and members of the Roman Curia for conquest purposes. However, it's important to recognize that many of the people have not been aware that what they've been calling or trained in schools is a country designated or styled as the United States. Many of them were not aware of the fact that that's actually a private corporation registered in Austria. Also, many of you who have been dealing with us or doing research for yourselves over the years, as you know, we've been exposing that the U.S. is a private corporation, and we even shared their corporate papers with many of you as evidence for those who we know who would be countering the consciousness of the people to keep the people asleep as to what's going on, and therefore keep the schism operations going that divide the people against themselves and have many people who have not been properly made erudite in the school systems using induced belief systems in substitution for knowledge or facts, etc., and thereby causing and also maintaining schisms amongst the natural people of the land. Now, keep in mind, many people have been trained to argue the social or psychic attack paradigm known as racism and prejudice at North America, and are under the concept that every hybrid European that may be the neighbor down the street is necessarily your enemy. That's not necessarily true. Understand that the hybrids that have been creating the subversion and the suppression and the subjugation of the natural people under unum sanctum operations and dum diversas operations are mainly and predominantly located or holding de facto positions in government. So it's not your neighbors that are doing things to you. It is people in government or people who are claimed to be government, and also people whom they contract and other subdivisional corporate entities to guise the fact that that the action actually comes from them. As an example, when you do research at the Maghreb or North America, Maghreb, you'll find many people talk about things such as Tulsa, Oklahoma, the Tuskegee experiments, etc., where they have via their unum sanctum operations and dum diversas operations, killing off and poisoning and destroying by virtue of different methods of genocide our people, the Aboriginal people of Morocco, America, the real Americans. And keep in mind, the real Americans, they refer to us as the copper complexion people, or the people with skin like burnished brass, as if burnt in the oven, and having generally woolly hair, etc., i.e., Moabite, Canaanite stock, etc. The Aboriginal, real, true Americans. And because of the schism operations, many of the hybrid Europeans have been successfully, and particularly since around 1861 in that area, promoting themselves as the Americans falsely in order to project the evils that they've been doing on the planet onto America and the real people of America. And that would often be done in what they would call, from a psychic attack perspective, of initiating an action or an attack under what is guised as blackface. And this is where the hybrid Europeans would hire contractors or themselves, and it would be initiated from people who claim to be government, where they would darken their skin and do devious things to blame what they have been doing to people around the world, and particularly here at the North, on the Aboriginal people, and they have been quite successful at that. And so therefore, we must be reminded to be aware of the projection strategies that have been used under the dum diversas operations and the schism operations for the successes of conquest at North America. However, also about 18 years ago, from this location, actually around the corner, I did a lecture in November of 2003 in relationship to a lot of things that we're dealing with today. And with this particular book, this was a copy, or what you would call transliteration of that conversation. Was actually a conversation, and so they made it into a book. It's called "Evolve Will Become Fertilizer for Those Who Are." Now, I'm going to read a couple of passages because it is in tune with what's going on today. So this is an opening statement of, in that book. I'll read a few. Forward. The contents of this book are derived from a lecture given by Tarik on November the 15th of 2003 1423 MC, at Moorways located on Market Street at Wilmington, Delaware, North America, northwest of Mexico. Taj was asked to speak on the subject of unity and economics. However, his perspective, surprisingly, was not expected by the masses, as he first saw it most important to bring to the table the true, quote unquote, meaning of unity, quote unquote, and to dispel the commonly accepted myth that we as a people don't come together. And once the concept of unity was explained, a clearer understanding and comprehension of economics was gained. Once the issue involving economics was understood, we could more easily grasp why the gross national product, quote unquote, of the nation never matches up to reality and to true labor output. This information or informative lecture may prove to be very useful for all those who are in an honest search for social, political, and economic remedies for our Aboriginal natural peoples and for all natural indigenous peoples in general. Much of the information is based in true law, true historical facts, truth in religion, what it is not, relative to spirituality, and relative to what is happening now. Unity in economics are not limited to what you may have assumed or to what you have been told. And once you have read this booklet, pass it on to those you love. Opening statement by Tarik.